Let this collapse. I told you it would send silver through the roof. News out today shows the price of silver is about to get just the injection it needs to send the price through the roof. No one wants this sector of our economy to collapse, but it has been a long time coming. And if you're on the fence as to whether or not you should cash out your silver, hear this first. This is from Yahoo Finance. And again, people have been dumping their silver lately, and some are on the fence trying to figure out, is silver going to continue down to that $24 range that we've heard about lately and that we lived through, and it seems to be going back down there. So if you're thinking whether or not you should cash out, check this out first. This says U.S. home sales crumble in May on higher rates and record prices. This is according to Redfin. The article says U.S. home sales in May fell to among the lowest levels in the past decade. Lowest in the past decade. Real estate brokerage firm Redfin posted this, and it says both demand and supply remain sluggish in a high mortgage rate environment. People are not taking up these 7, almost 8% mortgages for a 30-year fixed mortgage. They're just not doing it. Let's keep going. The article says housing affordability in the U.S. is at an all-time low. Median home prices have scaled record highs, and the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is hovering at around 7%. This has depressed both demand and supply. So people who are wanting to sell and have been wanting to sell, many people have been waiting through the pandemic years, and they're still wanting to sell their home. They have their houses priced at what many will say bubble rates, right? They're looking at Zillow and they're looking at these websites that give them inflated confidence about how much they could get for their home. Those homes are not moving. And on the other end, people who are ready to buy, first time buyers, some of them, they're ready to buy, they have their down payment in their hand, but they're not buying because the mortgage rate is so high. This article says the number of homes for sale remains roughly 25% below pre-pandemic levels. Wow. And it says home sellers are holding on to lower fixed mortgage rates secured on properties during an era of cheap debt in the face of higher rates currently. They don't want to give in and sell their home at a lower price and have to go take on another mortgage at a higher rate. So what's happening for our price of silver is people see two options for tangible assets. They could own land, they could own a home, that's a tangible asset, or they could own precious metals like this silver I'm holding right here. And as we see this struggle in the housing market, people are taking, and they're going to continue to take that nest egg that they're holding, and they're going to put it into a safe store of wealth. They're not going to go to banks. Look at what's happened just the past week. We've had 6 banks get their ratings lowered because of all these risky loans that they're trying to dump, right? These banks have, and this is not new. These banks always have risky loans, but often to dump those loans, they will give them to firms like hedge funds. And what we're finding and what has been happening in the past few weeks is that these hedge funds are actually not buying those risks with their own capital. They're turning to other banks to take out loans from them. So it's keeping these risky loans all in the same web of banks here. So people see all this, all of this disruption, all of this uncertainty that's going on. It makes people want to go into precious metals. And that is going to give us a huge bump in price. This is the history of silver stacking. This is how it works. So this data out today on Yahoo Finance telling us these exact numbers, this shows us that people are not going to be buying up these homes anytime soon. And that money is going to go to this tangible asset here, this silver, and that's going to give us a big bump in price. Let's keep going. The article says in May, 407,000 homes were sold. On only October 2023 was 398. May 2020 was 369,000. In the past decade, there's been record fewer home sales per month. These are the numbers that Yahoo Finance is showing us. It says by the numbers. Home sales fell 1.7% month over month in May on a seasonal adjusted basis and dropped 2.9% from a year earlier. That's year to year, it dropped 2.9%. While median home sale prices rose to a record high. So they're pushing their home prices higher, but people are not buying. That's up 1.6% month over month and 5.1% year over year. So that's the inflated prices we're seeing for these homes. And that's that's why this market is so stuck. The article says seasonally adjusted new listings rose 0.3% month over month in May and 8.8% from a year earlier. Still, they were roughly 20% below pre-pandemic. And this article says this is their market reaction. It says home builder stocks surged in 2023 as tighter supply led to higher sales. However, the rally has since lost momentum. And we're seeing that just the other indicator for this is your local retailer, these Home Depot stores, that they're not getting customers coming in the way they would when this is their season, right? These 3 months are when first people are buying homes, and then they want to start buying supplies from Home Depot to do upkeep and to remodel whatever they just bought. So we're seeing that at Home Depot. We're seeing that Home Depot is struggling to get people in the door. It's all connected, and all that money that would go to real estate, that would go to this housing market, all the money that would go to Home Depot, all the money that would go to these banks that are struggling and shaking. People are going to put that in the safest store of wealth. This is what always happens for silver. So this forecast shows us that silver is set to get a big bump in price. And if you're one of these people who's thinking about cashing out, there's been a lot of cashing out these past 3 months since we've had this big bump in precious metals prices. A lot of dumping, a lot of cashing out. I'm in the silver stacking game that holds these precious metals for decades. That's what I do. I hold it. I don't cash out. But I know many people do. I know many people stack silver for a time in their life where they really need to cash out. And if that's you, that if you could hold on a bit longer, this data shows us that silver is really set to move higher.